Uh, well, hello everyone. We're 16, 17 seconds into this live. Have it titled A Little Bit of Everything, however, a whole lot. And haven't been on for a while. We've been so busy with these gatherings and meeting other ones, doing energetic work, you name it. So we've been very busy. So I'll try to skim on a little bit about the gatherings first, and then I will do some energetic updates, perhaps. Uh, I'm uncertain how our service is right here. If this is glitching or if we can put a good strong stream on it to keep it going would be great with your assistance. So if someone could just type in the comments if we're streaming good, I would appreciate that, and then I will continue. Thank you. Oh, I see one thing. I shouldn't move too much because it glitches. Okay. Got a little bit of a runny nose here. This doesn't, thank you. This usually doesn't happen. We're west of Toronto here, and let's just say it's quite a few chemtrails appeared today. We're down perhaps on a little bit lower timeline, and that's when that sort of things occur. Okay, back to it. Sault Ste. Marie, gee, when? Maybe a week ago or more, we spent several days there with our beautiful host, Iris, and her divine partner, Brian, which was a magnificent gathering. There was 8 of us in total there, 4 masculine, 4 feminine, a beautiful 8, fully balanced, and that was a magnificent gathering that actually set up for the next gathering as well. So I mentioned that a while ago, and it was so important. And without going too much into the Sault Ste. Marie gathering, I had done that prior, and my utmost gratitude and love for Iris and Brian for hosting that, and our great new divine comrades we had met there, which is also Diana and Steve, and very powerful individuals as well as Boki. I believe he dropped by, and a beautiful gentleman too. So we went from Sue to, okay, thanks for that, Benoit Boulani. I'm trying to remember. I was speaking with Benoit earlier today. We're setting up the Montreal gathering, and good to see you on here, Benoit, and very excited to meet with you as well in the physical when we get there. And that may be, we're looking at what we have set up is next Sunday in Montreal. So things are going very well. So we went from the Sioux to Parry Sound Huntsville gathering, and wow, we were there several days with that, and we met Leslie there, Debbie Pillen. She was the host, Debbie, and an amazing lady and an amazing important piece of property for the 5D as well. I'll get into that a little bit more. And Linda and Catherine joined us there. So we had a total of 7 at that gathering, but very significant with that. At that one was only I was the masculine, and at that gathering, the 6 others were feminine, but very powerful and impressive feminine as well. Now, it was pretty extensive with We're at the 5 minute mark. Can someone just say still going good? And hi, Linda. We missed you from Saskatchewan. I thought we would be connecting, but however, we got divinely called. We still doing good, everyone? I believe so. So getting back to the importance and the significance of the Huntsville gathering, what I wish to share at this point, it's such an important 5D area. It is a 5D nodule, and let's say we did an important ceremony there without getting into the details that it focused upon setting many of the divine feminine free from their energy being, let's say, siphoned from them. And that's our buddy Trap. He lets us know when there's any lower density ones around. So he's just doing his divine work as well. So it's amazing. So yeah, so we did a very powerful, uh, let's say, exercise there, and the following day we also had confirmations of how powerful it actually was, and was seeing that it was effective and what we did. So I got a runny nose today. I might have to put on my shoes and go catch it. But anyhow, uh, so very important and very special ones. We had met at that and what we set up for the future. And many thanks and much love and gratitude for Debbie for being the host for that area, and just so beautiful, and lots of signs, and lots went on in that area. Specifically, one of the highlights was also with Angel, the cat we have, where she is actually transporting herself while asleep. It's not a bilocation. She is physically going to sleep, for example, inside Betsy with all the doors and windows shut, and she was appearing in a cottage up there on Debbie's property, and vice versa. She's done this in the last couple weeks now several times, and also others can attest to what's going on with her. But it's so important with her ability. She's doing this, as far as we can see, when she goes into deep sleep. So she is actually transporting her physical vessel to another location. And having said this, with this ascension, we can do it as well. This is part of your multi-dimensional abilities. You know, it's all inclusive with bilocating, remote viewing, but it's showing us that at this point in time how far we really come with our abilities. So I look at it as a gauge as well, for to see this beautiful cat named Angel able to do that, even though she may not be conscious of it yet, where she is asleep and wakes up in a different area. Uh, I do see in very short time she will be conscious of what she is doing. And also with that, telepathically, with the animals, it's not all animals, but a lot of animals, when they're in states of higher consciousness, I do read their thoughts, and we do communicate telepathically. And having said that, there was one thing with Angel when she teleported that she kind of didn't believe it herself, where she teleported outside of Betsy and into the cottage. And when we got her, she was kind of confused, and she come back to Betsy along the front, looking up at the bunk where she went to sleep at. And I actually had to open the door so this cat, Angel, so she could look in. and see that the bunk was still there. And she was kind of confused, so I had to show her that. So there will be a lot more on this, just sharing with you, what's been occurring. And with the Ascension, we get more information as we go along, of course. So ET, if you will, I will say ET interactions at the Perry Sound property, and also some galactics, but the galactics tend, for my part, tend to just remain up above in the ships. We did see ships moving, coming in and out of this dimension, and Helen with us and Debbie, they witnessed one ship, one that is known as Helen's ship, I believe, split into two, sent two. So it was one, and it sent two more satellites off of it. And also, what we had in the night in the woods, just where we were at, there were ETs there, but they were not part of the galactics. And what I was given, they were making like funny gurgling noises and what have you, but they were ETs that were allowed to come here and to, observe us and just connect. But we did not get any visuals on this. We could hear them in the woods, and we could hear their noises, but there was no English. There was no telepathic communication with them. And what I was told from the father is that they were star friends, sort of. I forget the exact term. Uh, no, I remember now. Yeah, he said, these are some of your starship friends. So with that, I took it what was meant, that they were some of the ships that were there at that time, but they weren't galactics. So very great with that, as you can see. And, there were just, it's so vast what occurs at these gatherings. And not only that, when higher consciousness ones come together and stay together for long periods, you create a huge energetic field where the magic occurs. And this is also one of the reasons why Angel the cat was able to teleport, because of the company that we had there. And Leslie, she stayed overnight for 3 days, I believe, on the property, and we did with Debbie. And Catherine, she had joined us and stayed overnight. And Linda, she had come 2 days in a row as well, and she lots of cool synchronicities going on with it. So how we doing, everyone? Great. I'm at 13 minutes here. Can someone just say, is it good or are we breaking up? How are we doing? See thumbs. We're doing good. Woohoo! So with that, yeah, just so many amazing things, as I said, are going on with this. So we spent several days there. We had our Toronto gathering uh, on Saturday, and at that one, counting the team, three of us, I believe there was 19 or 20 in attendance there. We met Simon and Aldora, his divine partner, and just very beautiful, great, loving, divine ones as well, doing amazing work out there. Some of the work that they do is, they put on events to raise money when they do, and they built, or they, let's say, constructed a well and paid for it for an African village for to have water. Another thing is an orphanage, and I believe they said in Africa to assist children and things as well. So, humanitarian projects they are doing on their own with money that they raise for this. So very beautiful souls. And many more attended that, and we made new acquaintances there. And also a a couple that I was already friends with on Facebook. We had just a few prior messages, before the gathering. However, there were new faces there, and it's good to see this. One thing I'll mention with Simon, what he had shared with I, is that recently he has seen an increase in the divine masculine coming forth, asking for assistance. So I was so grateful to see this as well. And it's a very important indicator. And thanks, Heather. Very important indicator of the masculine rising. And what I wish to say with the masculine, it seems what I'm feeling is that they're more of an introvert during this stage as well, and they can come out of the closet, if you will, overnight, really advanced. So just because we're not seeing so many right on the scenes right now, what I can say and attest to that they are being prepared, and you will be very grateful as they began to show up in larger numbers. But we're already seeing more of the masculine showing up now, and because that is happening, that's why also the divine feminine, which is leading this ascension with the energetics, is going forward, and we're creating much more magical things, and also affecting the energies on large scales around Gaia, which is being recorded, in the material instruments and what have you. And we're just making great leaps and bounds with everything we're doing. And it's always so impressive for I usually work with the divine feminine, which are very powerful ones. But what I'm seeing is very powerful divine masculine brothers stepping up as well. And, they've already been on the scene, but we're in these times of unity and where we're connecting. And that's what's so important, as we unify, if you will, everyone together, we create yet another very handsome, very appreciable vibration that raises everyone up with it. And it does, one of the keys is of this ascension is that unity. And it creates an immense prowess. And also at these gatherings, when we're coming together, we are also learning more as we share among ourselves at the gatherings as well. And with this, I'm here to, as all of us are, we know it all, but we have lots of things blocked, and it's only introduced to the collective consciousness at marginally and incrementally. But we all have pieces and contributions to this overall ascension. And as more meet and join the puzzle or join the pieces and the clues, it takes us up higher. It keeps shifting us up higher. So again, it's very important, the gatherings, the unity of all of us, and the interconnections, as we all know. And what I'm saying is that I am confirming and guaranteeing that it is so, and it's having such a magnificent impact upon the timelines. So I rambled on enough about the gatherings, and with that, I thank all of our beautiful hosts thus far, and just so fully grateful, and grateful for those supporting monetarily this ascension mission, if you will, that we're on, and just so much gratitude with every bit of support everyone is given with us to make this happen. So great with that. Now I'll get to some other quick points I have wrote down here. Give me a moment. Okay, maybe some on this. Still doing good, everyone. Shannon says coming to Windsor. Rick, uh, uncertain, Shannon, where we are going to be. We're on. We usually put out our schedule a week or 2 weeks ahead. You know, for instance, Montreal and Quebec City. However, we need to be as flexible as we can to the divine plan as well. And heaven said that instead of us controlling, for the most part, where we go, we leave divinity do that. So finally today, I was allowed to confirm the Montreal gathering on, I believe, September the 1st, and Benoit, I believe, will be hosting that important one. Now, before Montreal, what's occurring is that I feel, well, I know that we will be in Ottawa, Cornwall area in the latter part of the week, and we will be having some sort of a gathering in that area. Shannon, though, I would prefer if you could just send me a private message and we'll connect there and just see where you're at. And, we could also meet up perhaps, but no guarantees on that. We're working by divinity, and that's where we go with it. Oh, okay, Shannon. You're over in Amherstburg, yeah. Okay. We'll see what occurs with this. We'll see what occurs in the next day or so. We didn't expect to go over to Amherst. It's quite a ways and towards London, and however, we'll see what goes on with this. So okay, so the gatherings, yeah, next one, Montreal, the a scheduled one. However, there will be one in between there towards the latter part of the week, and we're see how we might have to have a couple there. Sharon uh, Stewart, any of you that know her online, may be hosting one there, and we may also be around that general area. We also have an important activation that three of us must go to a certain location en route and do this activation as well, which we do very quickly. We just need to be on the area to do it. So everything is tentative, and we'll put it more in place as we go along. And I'll put out more info, as I get it, to try to give you as much time ahead that you can plan if you wish to attend. However, again, uh, with this, because this is the divine plan we're following more or less, we're not making this plan up ourselves too much to any degree, and we're not controlling it. We're letting divinity give us the signs, and we follow the signs. So that's what we're doing with this. So we'll see what happens. Uh, okay, so let's look at a couple things very quickly. Very quickly. I guess I'll cover them when we can. Hi, Stacy Lewis, and thank you so much for being an admin of our Real Angels page here on Facebook, and all your beautiful work and support that you give us and do. So greatly appreciated. And having said that, all of our Real Angels admins, thank you so much, and much love to each and every one of you. And as we go along with our Real Angels page, in divine timing, whatever ways we can assist others and tweak it up, we will be doing that. And again, right at this time, I have so many things uh, on my divine plate, if you will, that there's only so much that I can do, and and with us, we are just like divinely working. You might as well say 24/7 with what we're doing. So we're extremely busy and interacting with others, and every time we engage in a conversation with another, what is actually occurring is between the divine ones, uh, we will bring up a topic, and then we will find the solutions, for example, and then it's distributed out through the collective, and it because that's also how it's shared. So every conversation that the higher consciousness ones have, it's having a great effect on the overall because we're sharing that outward, but also we're receiving from the other ones that are having other gatherings. So even though it may look like we're separated, no, we're not. We're telepathically connected, and we're all doing such great work. And again, the importance of unity. Okay, so Breatharian concept. I posted that a bit ago. A page, what have you, a post on my timeline here. And the reason I put that out, it's great to be familiar with it, and it may benefit some. But what's going on uh, with these physical vessels, where they're going for the most part for us that are ascending, where they are going to a more crystalline based organism away from the carbon based organism, your body will function differently. And the old, the primitive means of extracting energy from food is being replaced, that you can get that exact energy, or even I should say a stronger energy now, from the air that you breathe. So for some, they are transitioning with that. I know Sharon and I believe Helen as well, that we have had some periods we were introduced to that for several days, not being hungry and eating very little, but having all of our energy. So the breatharian concept is very important, and it is very real for at least some going forward, if not all. Don't ask me a time when, because any time is dictated by your vibration and the overall vibration, usually, except there are exceptions to that rule. When with this ascension divinely, when something very miraculous or profound needs to be introduced, it will be introduced as well. So this is why you have exceptions. And again, we are not only transforming time, we are transforming these physical vessels too. So it's all inclusive, and everything is connected with creation doing this. Uh, okay, a part of the ascension is the sovereignty, and I put that out. And this is so important for those that it resonates with, because it, for the most part, for the highest perspective, what a written sovereignty document is it's an energetic mechanism, but it's divine, that protects you, and it puts you also in a place of higher divine authority while doing your divine work here upon the surface. And as we all know, the reason why this ascension is occurring, and other things, is because of the dark that was in control here, and we are transitioning reality, and everything that was dark is being revealed and uncovered. This is part of the important transition that we are here to do. Now, having said that, the sovereignty is one part of liberation. for humanity, but it's also liberation for you. Uh, and having said that about the sovereignty topic, we have a Zoom that will be set up to get more in depth. I will be speaking with two others on this. Uh, let's say in a discussion, we will put it out live for you. I believe next Monday is what we're looking at right now, and we'll have more information on this topic as we go along for the ones that it resonates with. So the sovereignty, yeah, very great. And I'm very busy. Having said that, behind the scenes with this, what I did today is I requested anyone uh, wanting some sovereignty written decrees and to get assistance with that. Um, I requested that you contact Sharon or Helen, and they can give you the contact information of the ones that have this in place, and also the administrator that will assist you in taking that further if you wish. So anyone still interested in these decrees, please contact Sharon or Helen so that my inbox here don't get so full. I have so much going on, and I just don't have all day to sit on Facebook and read messages and chat. However, having said that, you are all important, and I do get back to you when I can. And sometimes it may just be a heart to let you know that I acknowledge that you're there, and I have at least looked at what you sent. But then again, having said that, um, I'm not on here to chat, so on Facebook Messenger, and I do not have it on my phone. The only time that I'm on Messenger is when I go on the computer. And what I request is that, if you have questions, keep it right to the point, one line. Don't send me a whole lot of things with that. And if your cooperation would be greatly respected. With that, I'd be very grateful if you uh, could do that. Thank you. Okay. Markets volatile and rigged fully. Okay, for any of you with the stock markets and the Dow, it's all fully rigged, and it's ridiculous, and we don't. Many of you now know that it's not going to matter. But one reason I brought this up is because of when the RV comes in fully, where all currencies are reset to par. And you're also hearing this in your 3D world now that perhaps some of the politicians or whatever are saying they support a one world currency. Well, when all of the currencies, including the ones that were undervalued to great lengths, like the Zim bonds, when everything comes to par, it's actually going to be the one currency. So you're actually getting signs and indications that the RV is so, and it is imminent. And I'm feeling pretty good. It's now too. So again, with that, it's very important to know that the markets are rigged, and I suggest for no one to support them. Some of the things they use, like consumer confidence, like actually, when you look at the ones that control the markets and the analysts, they are the ones that write up these instruments and falsities, and they use things like market sentiment and consumer confidence to try to justify the movements within the markets. But in realities, all of the markets are manipulated by the governments and by the banks. So as a guise and a cover up to actually what they do with the money, they create vehicles like that, the sentiment indicator, consumer confidence, and all these ridiculous things. And what it can give you, anyone that looks, I was a trader, and if anyone wishes, for myself, a trader, anyone wishes to look at the the markets in the charts. If you want to do the tech analysis of the charts, it's what you can see right now is that huge short positions are being taken up by the banks. And during that course, what they do is they'll buy more shares. So when you get an uptick like today, perhaps, they're really just getting some more shares ready to sell to drop the market. And for any of you that know, any retail investors or ones that are not the big players in the market, you're not allowed to short stocks. And there's reasons for that. But it also shows you that the markets are not fair, that they are not based on merit. So it's so very blatant how they work in respect to that. And also, we have what we call naked shorts, and well, they're phantom shares that are actually created by the banks. They're actually allowed to do this. And for instance, in Canada, you'll find, oh, you're not allowed to naked short in Canada. It's against the law. But if you go into the end of the day settlements, what you will find with the banks, which are the market makers, what you will find is there's what they call bail-in procedures. And a bail-in procedure is a settlement of stock at the end of the day. And that settlement shows how much stock that during the course of market making that they had actually created to put a stock up or down, and they have to account for that and find other stock later uh, to replace what they were doing. But I got a little bit more in depth with that just to give you an idea of how everything is totally designed that way and corrupt to keep the monetary system the way it was intact and keep people working and putting money into pensions, and it's all crap is what I'm saying, and this is why it's being wiped out. So great. So I'll get off of that topic. Let's get on to a couple other things here. So Montreal, well, I find out uh, a very interesting thing occurred also going back to the Parry Sound, Huntsville. Uh, After we did that important ceremony of freeing, let's say, some of the feminine that might have been caught up in abusive, energetic siphoning and pillaging. Linda had shared with me the next day that she had a very important thing that occurred, and I will just, it's very important, and I will discuss that in the future, perhaps if we need to. However, I am just alluding to it now because it also substantiates and supports part of what was going on when I was demonized, if you will, by a group of feminine that were tricked into thinking this and seeing things. So we got some, if I need it, I got good stuff. I don't really need it. I continue forward with it. However, what becomes so important with it, where I don't need it, it's all about learning what occurred and learning how energetics work, learning how the dark controlled minds in the past. So, with everything that always occurs, in reality, there is no bad. There is that knowledge to be learned and to be observed at these times. We are in unprecedented times in the Ascension, and part of your way out of here is to be given very extensive experiences to learn quickly and to also understand how energetics work and to create the new as we go forward all together. And also, having said that, that's why it's so important. I always suggest do not come to any conclusions on anything. Keep your mind most open because in these times, you just don't get one dot and that's it. You get many. You get one dot that leads to another, and everyone knows how it works. And right at these times, as Todd Medina said, no one has it all right here. That's correct. But by coming together and not being separated. This is how you learn and raise very quickly and understand, how the dark resistance here that you are liberating yourself and others from by learning how it works and learning how to master above it. These are the keys out of here. These are the keys from your suppression. This is your liberation. And it's so important for everyone to be fully open-minded with this. Thank you. Okay, now, next thing. From the gatherings, what's occurring? Any of you that are feeling perhaps in a in your timelines a little bit of negativity that comes in or chaotic things, what I wish to share with you without getting too extensive, especially if it's close to the areas we are gathering in, and it can emanate out, to my knowledge, perhaps 200 to 300 miles from where we are centered at. It's like a ripple effect, and what it does, it sends out, it sends out a negative band from where we're at, condensing and compressing negativity that is can be quickly felt, but also it needs to be transmuted. So any of you that feel negativity or a density in your days, the more sensitive ones know what it is, that it's not you, that it's coming from the outside, and acknowledge that and just do whatever you can to transmute it. And when I mean transmute it, it's important to neutralize it, but disassemble it and send it back to the light. It does no good just to push it out of you over here and let it go into someone else, if you will. You need to do the process. You have the power to do it. Disassemble it. So, how are we? I'd like to get another update here, Divine Ones. Are we? Am I constant, or is this glitching any? Jeanette Godden joined after that. Can someone just say, seeing lots of hearts, but is it going good? I don't want it right glitchy, so. Okay, thank you, Catherine. Sounds good. Awesome. Much love to you, and it was a pleasure meeting you as well, Catherine. Catherine was at our Perry Sound Huntsville gathering. Great, thank you so much. And okay, so we got that. Ottawa, Cornwall area tentative for Thursday and Friday or Saturday. We're uncertain yet, and when we get clarity on that, we'll let you know. So anywhere around Ottawa, Cornwall area, you may wish to get in touch with Sharon or Helen would be great, and give your location, or to find, if you need to find out information, that would be great. Okay. Anyone responding to any of our gatherings that we're having? It's a better idea if you're responding to posts that I put out, or anyone that puts these out. If you think you're attending, please contact us by private message. For I very rarely do I ever look at the comments that I put out on posts. So if you, and this holds true for your sovereignty decrees as well. I noticed that there were some on a post that said they were ready, but all of this is to be done through private messaging is the best. Then that way we see your message and we don't have to go through posts and search for comments, please. And having said that, also here on Facebook, please, if anyone needs anything that's important to my attention, don't tag me in posts. I rarely, hardly ever look at my notifications. I just have so many of those. And, if it's so very important, again, please message us. Thank you. Ah, okay. Put out about the RV, the Trump post I put out down the line here a little bit. The executive orders world recognition of one currency. Well, we already went through that for the most part. The RV is happening. Don't ask me when, other than it's happening now and however long it takes. So that's great. Vaccine post I put out for anyone. Let's see what I got. The vaccine post I put out was a petition to sign, and they gave an example about the New York area. It's well worth a read for whoever it resonates with, but the importance of it, even though if you look at petitions that go towards governments, and we know that the governments are all crumbling, but it's more important that when you put your energetic signature on something now, you're more powerful than you ever were. And what it does is that it gives more of an impact on reality and creation. You put your divine energy in and you sign a petition as something, it begins to change reality. So know your prowess. It's very powerful, and the more you stand in it, the stronger it is, and you will see your confirmations and your validations. So, having said that, any that feel that you are, any way you can assist with this ascension by saying no to vaccines or what have you, to our children, by all means, stand up. And, everyone, for the most part, knows what the vaccines, were doing. You've seen where many nurses stood up against it, many doctors against it, and so we know what it is. So more and more every day are standing up. The Hong Kong thing, hey, that was pretty impressive, that post. A 28-mile human chain, in China. Very important. But what was so uh, impressive also about that was I saw lawyers, accountants, and professionals were joining these protests. Very important. It's showing now that the lower levels of the elitist pyramid, that these ones are beginning to choose with the people. So it's showing a further destruction up the pyramid, and it's showing that what's pretty well left are just the minions of the elitists, some puppets and some very weak puppet masters that really have lost all control, with the Jesuits included with it all. So it's very fascinating and amazing to watch this transition as well. And my love goes out and my support to all of those Hong Kong protesters, taking back their rights and what have you, that is so important to us all, and our freedom, our sovereignty, and much more. So it's great. Much support, much love to all of you out there on the front lines creating this great good change at this time. Much love and gratitude and support. Uh, raising, okay, the censorships of the social media. So my good friend Stone Petit, I put his post out today. He's another example. He was censored, if you will. He only could post on his timeline. However, as we can see, nothing stops us. There's always a ways around everything, and we keep all connected. Nothing stops us. Nothing can stop us. You have the ingenuity and the divine angelic angles to conquer everything. Trust in yourself fully and know your prowess, but also witness your own prowess with your mind. When you just keep saying no, you will not be taken advantage of or your energy siphoned. Watch what happens. It really works, and you'll impress or amaze yourself. You know, some of you that may not already know that. So very important. The Amazon fires. Very quickly with that, we just wanted rain, and you know, I just for anyone that didn't know and perhaps was not praying for rain or doing their energetic work, you know, as a team, I suggested let's just say we want rain there. We don't need to focus on the fear aspect of the fires. What we do is we focus on the positive thing, the cure. So we put a lot of rain there that will clear that up for us. And, you know, you only need a moment's notice to put that good thought there. You want rain, and it doesn't matter what was occurring. We can rectify it by putting a lot of that rain there where it's needed now. And with our divine abilities, as we know, no one is ever harmed with this, and that is not our intent. Our intent is for the good of all and to do the greatest good where we can do it. So, and to keep it simple in these times, your mind is so powerful. You are co-creators, and as you know, you're getting stronger every day in your manifestation abilities as well. When we're in the highest vibrations, you'll see amazing results. And for all of you that do, please keep sharing it with the others as a testimony. And what that helps to do is to alleviate fear, the doubt in others that this is real, and it helps them to rise into their prowess as well and to empower them further. So I always strongly encourage to share all of your profound moments and all of the miracles that you experience and see. It's so beneficial for everyone, and to do that. So that looks good. I got this much done. So, you know, having said that, I'll have a quick look, see if there's any messages down at the bottom. Thank you, Benoit. Sound okay. Uh, okay, any questions? Cornwall meeting. Cornwall meeting has to be perfume free. Well, we'll see, Sharon. Sharon Stewart just asked, she said, Rick, can you mention that the Cornwall meeting has to be perfume free? Thanks. For the most part, I believe that will work out, Sharon, and we'll see. Maybe, you know, perhaps we could have it outdoors. We'll look at those particulars when we get there, but thank you for that, and I'll keep that in mind. So, okay, any questions? Anyone? Richie Sandra, Galactic Angels everywhere. Yeah, indeed, we have so many, so beautiful to see. Connie Bryson says, I've dreamed of people in yellow choir robes. Do you know them? Let me say, Connie, in these times, many are being introduced to even more galactics that were not known and written about uh, on the surface as well. um, and having said that, you know, I have come across ones that perhaps resemble that or the ones you were speaking of. But again, let me say that there are many, and there are new ones every day. As we increase the vibration, the frequency here, it allows more interactions yet with other interdimensional beings. So that's why it's ongoing, and you may encounter many new connections with energies and beings as we keep going forward. So excellent question, and thank you for bringing that up, Connie, because I was given a few days ago that sort of information to put out there that you're not, it's just not all the ascended masters or, the galactic federation. There is much more than what was known as well. And again, we keep open and keep connecting and interacting with them is what I suggest. There's no reason to fear anything. All galactics and ETs are benevolent. That's being taken care of by the galactics, so there is nothing to fear in that respect. The Ascension is ascertained. The galactics are inclusively on the surface, in the etherics, and also above the surface and interdimensionally. So there's no reason to fear anything. A great learning time as well, and your introduction back to your other existences through the galactics, interdimensional beings, energetic forms you had. There is no restriction on any of this because everything is energy, and some of you might have had all kinds of different forms with that. And Connie says they have talked with me. Connie, that sounds to me it's the Ascension that may be connected with you. They are tall, and it's usually three when they come, and they are very tall, yellow, bright light. If those are the ones you are referring to, that I did have at least one. No, I'll have to say several connections with them because they are very important as a part of, let's say, they are a very important part of this ascension, but the Ascension bring a many more higher dimensional gifts in the least. So that's great. So, Victor says, what's my perspective on the last post on Gaia Portal? Blue spirals of the higher fractal design comes to the fore. And specializers of the light are employed and viewed with delight. Humanity leaves its shanty village, and heavenly mansions are entered. That says a lot, Victor, with every Gaia portal message that comes out. And let me say that it is very credible and very indicative of current happenings and also the near futuristic happenings. And they are all, I accreditate them to the fullest and validate them with that. Now, what occurs is that there can be several perspectives on that message. For the most part, these are messages for the higher consciousness ones, and that's why it'll seem encrypted to some in the early stages when they're looking at it. But if you look at, for instance, blue spirals of the higher fractal design comes to the fore, what I look at, well, I'm wearing some blue tonight. However, we have the blue rays as well, and also we have, the sword of justice. The Archangel Michael is represented by blue as well. We have many that are connected to that. And the higher fractal design, if you will, is one's also integrating more of those aspects, integrating the connections, higher energetic connections to that. Then it says specializers of the light are employed and viewed with delight. Well, that's saying that any of you out there, doing your missions or even in the forefronts, uh, you are, like Amanda Lawrence, Todd Medina, the amazing work they're doing, Broder, Bilal, and others, and there are so many others that these ones are being recognized for what they're doing, their special work they're doing, and it is, to keep it simple, it's great to see them doing that, and I know I love it. So I call them specializers of the light, and I view them with delight, to keep it simple. Uh, and humanity leaves its shanty village. Well, indeed, we are rising. Heavenly mansions are entered. Well, very indicative. Heavenly mansions are entered. So, very indicative of the great times we are in the great magic. And so it's pretty well with that, Victor, self-explanatory, I believe, that one. So that's my perspective. Each one, you have your own perspective on things, and that is only mine. And everyone's perspective is correct because it's for their level of consciousness, or where they need to be at that time. So no one is wrong on these things and on their perspectives. And it's all part of the growth and raising up. So it's great. Thank you for that, Victor. I even thought about that, when that guy a message come out to do a quick explanation on that, but voila, it occurred. And thank you for bringing up that opportunity, Victor. Thank you, Victor. You read it pretty well the same. You said, thank you for that. Yeah. Um, Jeanette Godden, she says, I have very important health information. She says she has been very ill for most of her adult life. Uh, and she learned about pure gum spirits of turpentine. It is an ancient remedy that expels everything that does not belong in the body. It was listed in the Merck manual. Well, Merck, anyhow. Uh, Let me just say, in these times, Jeanette, um, we're going back to during this transformation to holistics and natural remedies and getting away from anything pharmaceutical, any of the synthetic chemicals, because it's a well-known fact now that actually it's what makes you sick. It's not what makes you better. Pharmaceuticals, drugs, and these sort of things. So, keep with the natural is what I suggest. But we have many now that have reached a degree where you can actually cure, anything within your vessel. So just with your mentality and with energy and these sort of things. So there's so much more out there, Jeanette, that, you know, can assist you. And I strongly suggest for everyone staying away from the chemicals in processed foods and drugs, whatever, what have you. The more you stay away from them, you will get your own confirmations that it is better. You don't need to take my word for it. But as I said before, if I say something, do the opposite if you don't believe it. Whatever assists. And sometimes it will take one's doing the opposite to get in there to see that what I would said was correct. And that's not a conceited statement. That is me telling the truth, and you will see that. And I back up everything that I ever say because I trust where it comes from, and I know where it comes from. And it comes from a place of truth. So thank you. And thank you for that confirmation, Trap. I'll quickly look here and see if there's any more questions? And then Jeanette, distilled pine sap. Well, yeah, take it, go right back to the pine tree and that sap. It's so important. And not only that, every tree. We had some cedar tea when we were at Sault Ste. Marie at the last gathering with Iris, and just so beneficial and beautiful. And I will say that, hey, buddy, it's okay. Must be some darkness, maybe some boogeymen's around. Anyways, the cedar tea is, so invaluable as well. And all these natural things are even having more of an effect now than they did before as well, because you're putting the belief in there and the higher energetics. So you're going to see much greater results, because also the natural and holistic remedies are also more divinely supported. And what you'll also see on the other end of that is the pharmaceuticals, any that's on it, you'll see them more rapidly become sick, because they need to, for their souls to recognize what is actually making them sick, so that they let go of them and they begin to ascend, certain ones as well. So again, it's all part of the process. You are subjected, if you don't listen to your inner guidance, your intuition, then you are subjected through the experience, so that you will listen and you will learn it. And it's ascertained that you do when you're ready to ascend to whatever levels, the experiences come in to assure that you do that. So it's great. All good. Yeah, Jeanette, perhaps I did misunderstood what you said, but I believe I just clarified that pretty well now. Uh, with some of these, apple cider vinegar, one of you brought up, assist you. What I suggest with that, if you're still taking this apple cider vinegar, you may wish to check the pH level of your vessel and know the importance of keeping the pH level of your vessel in the alkaline above the 7. Just saying, perhaps just to look at that. And having said that, an acidic body level below 7 is more susceptible to complications and discomforts. And the higher pH, or the higher alkalinity that you keep your physical vessel at, you will find you will have less discomforts. So thank you for bringing that up. And, the acetic acids are not only, it's a wide array of them, they are also found as compounds in alcohol as well. So, and fermented fruit, as we know, and the vinegars and the preservatives and the citric acids and the preservatives. For some of you, you may reach the levels of intolerance to that before. It might have been perfectly okay, to have vinegar every day, but we are in times of rapid change where your physical vessel is changing, and everyone's at different levels with that. So knowing that, the foods that you ate one day, you may no longer be able to tolerate it, because it would be contradicting the physical evolution of your organic vessel. So keep that in mind. You are no longer what was a human organic any longer. For some of you, your bodies have transitioned to the degree that when you bleed, you are now seeing crystals, in your blood. And I know I know there's more of you out there that could attest to that. So I suggest strongly to keep that in mind. And again, each one is different. However, for us that these sort of things occur with, we purvey the message out there, and it's for those who resonate. But let me say, we are not liars. We are sharing the truth with this for all, even though it may not resonate, um, at some point. That does not mean that in the next day that it could resonate fully once you have that experience. And so it is very important, again, to keep an open mind and follow your inner guidance with where you're going, and your inner guidance and your connection to divinity. Follow those. And again, anything that anyone says, unless it resonates, you don't listen to it, including it might be your partner or whatever, your divine partner or a friend. If it doesn't resonate, it's best not to believe it or go with it. You need to trust on the lowest level, your instincts, your intuition. Okay, it's uh, getting kind of late here. So I'm just scrolling very quickly. Charla Fonda says, Rick, did you say alcohol lowers the pH level? I did not directly say that. What I said is that you should look, if you're into chemistry or even biochemistry, one of the areas you may wish to look at is the glucose and the fructose and the carbon arrangements that are in that, and with the acetic acids that are contained within there. And then what you may wish to look at is when your DNA is being rewired at the RNA levels, which is the nucleic acids. There is a lot that goes on with uh, these. Uh, I know the word, but anyhow, just to keep it simple for everyone, with the DNA, there's a lot of restructuring and rewiring going on there. And remember that things like alcohol has many other carbons that cannot be broken down as easily as before, because the body is changing to a crystalline form, and the way the body acted or reacted to these sort of things before has changed. So yeah, it can affect and lower the pH level. And one of the things, you can see what it does. It creates a lot of acid as well in the stomach, and gas within there too. So a lot of things with it. I suggest stay away from alcohol, but each their own. When it's time and if they need to, it does occur. I only give out what is best, what I'm given, and it's each one's journey to where they wish to go with it. So thank you for that. Okay, I'm just going to see if there's anything quick. Hi, Debbie. Ah, so good to see you. Much love. And I mentioned point zero or 0 point in here. Not that word, but the place and the beautiful and some of the magic we had there. And I thank you so much, Debbie, for hosting the Huntsville Perry Sound gathering and everything that you did in assisting us, and your amazing abilities as well, and all the fun that we had, discussing things. It's beautiful. So thank you so much. And thank you for being on here now. So, having said that, everyone, 114, this is long enough. I thank you all. It's been a lengthy live, and it gave me the opportunity to catch up on a week or more, um, a week of things. So bear with us as we go along, and practice patience. Know that we are very busy, and that a lot of things are indeed happening. lot of magic, and if it resonates with you, get out to the gatherings, and you don't need to meet with us, but meet with other like-minded, as well in the gatherings. It's whatever resonates with you, but I do emphasize the importance of uniting in the physical, having the like-minded conversations, and there's so much more that goes along with that. So I strongly suggest, and I do know it's very beneficial, and uh, I know that in time everyone will say that it has been beneficial. So that, because that's the way it is, and it's genuine as you know it, and it's so important to all of you and all of us. So having said that, namaste, much love, peace. We got this. We already did it. We're just acting it out, and hope to see many of you soon. So uh, thanks with that, and I love you, love and light, and have a beautiful evening, morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you may be. Thank you now. Goodbye.